Welcome back to day 28 of the Drive-In Exploitation Challenge. Got in a boatload of films today. I did a massive watch. First up is a film that Andrew Bellina had recommended I check out, and that is Dead End Drive-In, Exploitation film from 1986, directed by Brian Trenchard Smith. I like his films quite a bit. This is an Arrow release. Um, it is a kind of a post-apocalyptic social commentary, I would say. What you've got here is a fenced-in drive-in that is, unbeknownst to many of the populace, is used to. Once you get in it, they lock you in. It's kind of a social. It's kind of a commentary on containment type films. Of course, throughout history, we've had situations and circumstances where people have been in internment camps, most notably in World War II, when the Japanese in the United States were sent off to camps. Of course, Russia's Soviet Union was famous for sending people off to gulags and things like that. It's got a Mad Max feel. It's kind of a society gone amok. You've got economic meltdown that's causing people to rob, steal, and loot. And of course, what's good about it is the 80s. It's got that 80s feel to it, the 80s hairdos. Very entertaining film. I enjoyed it. Give it a 7 out of 10. This is a 2K restoration, and it's got a commentary track and a number of special features. So yeah, this is recommended, highly recommended. Then I went back in time to a very underrated comedian, Don Knotts. Love Don Knotts. I think he's naturally funny. He doesn't have to do. He's one of those guys that doesn't have to do a whole lot to get you to laugh. And I watched The Ghost of Mr. Chicken. I grew up with this movie as a kid, watched it on TV. Don Knotts plays a shy, kind of scared of himself news reporter, and he gets a chance to solve a crime mystery at this ghost house. And a lot of these, a lot of these films are kind of coming of age, awakening type films where the character of Don Knotts, who's scared of his own shadow, overcomes something, overcomes his own fears to achieve something. That was in 1966, and then I followed that up with The Reluctant Astronaut, which is another hoot. Don Knotts is another guy. He's scared of his own shadow. He ends up working at some NASA plant. His father thinks he's an astronaut, but he actually scrubs floors. And so you got that dynamic going on. Cute films, a lot of fun. Then I broke into, I always do this, Count Yorga. I watch Count Yorga and Return of Count Yorga every single year, and I love it. I think Robert Quarry is great in it. This is 1970. Well, Return of Count Yorga is 1971. Count Yorga is 1970. You would think, if you haven't seen it, you would think these two films are Yorga, and the Return of Count Yorga is actually a follow-up sequel, but actually Return of Count Yorga just is another Yorga film. It doesn't explain or follow up the events of the first film. Count Yorga is just there. Almost like it's an independent. It is an independent Count Yorga film. I just noticed that when I watched it the upteenth time, that it doesn't try to explain how Count Yorga survived the first film. A lot of fun, 70s goodness. Robert Quarry on film, on camera, is always engaging, always interesting. This was probably, well, this is, I think, his greatest role. This is a little booklet. Robert Corey one of the interesting parts of this film, he actually had his teeth made by his dentist, specially made. So you got high def transfer of both films, and two new audio commentaries by David Duval and Courtney Joyner. If you have the MGM release, I don't think there was a commentary on it, so yeah, this is nice to have. Highly recommended. I give Count Yorga 7 out of 10. I give Return of Count Yorga 6 out of 10, although it's highly, highly enjoyable. There's some things about the second film that, from a plot standpoint, that I thought was just ludicrous, but it is fun. At the end of the day, it's fun stuff. Next up is a classic, The Hills Have Eyes. This film holds up to repeat viewings over and over and over. And this Arrow box set is stunning. Absolutely stunning. It's got a 60-page booklet. Brand new 4K restoration. Well, I'm sorry, it's a 40-page booklet. Brand new audio commentary with actors. Brand new audio commentary by academic Mikhail Koven. I don't know who that is. And then a port over of the Wes Craven commentary. Obviously, the port over of the Wes Craven commentary. He's dead, so unfortunately he's dead. This also has the, you could watch this film in this edition, you can watch it as it was originally intended or with the alternate ending. Great stuff. Last up's The Hullcraft Covenant, 1986. I'm sorry, 1985. Michael Caine stars in a Frankenheimer film about a guy that his late father, who he's kind of disavowed, turns out to be a former. His late father was a Nazi, a banker that actually had billions of dollars, and he's left this money to be run by his son, Michael Caine. And some other children, basically the children of the father's colleagues. And so what you have here is kind of a thriller. It's a thriller in Frankenheimer style. Excellent film. Kind of a crime thriller drama. I enjoyed it immensely. James Caan was originally cast as the lead, but walked off the set, and I have a hard time believing that. It would have been interesting to see James Caan in this role, but I got to tell you, Michael Caine was fantastic in this. Highly recommended film, particularly if you're a Frankenheimer. Everything Frankenheimer does has this aura of very realism. You believe what's going on, which I find great when it comes to thrillers or crime dramas. So that's going to do it for day 28. Appreciate you watching.